The human knee joint is an extraordinary biomechanical marvel, a highly sophisticated pressurized hinge designed by evolutionary biology. It supports the entire kinetic load of the skeletal structure while simultaneously absorbing the immense shock waves generated by locomotion. However, as an individual crosses their 6th and 7th decades, this masterpiece frequently transitions into a state of chronic, agonizing structural failure. Conventionally, the degradation of articular cartilage, the slick, white, protective coating capping the femur and tibia, was seen as unavoidable wear and tear. The medical community largely accepted the narrative that once the joint enters bone-on-bone friction, the only recourse is pharmaceutical pain management or surgery. Modern molecular biology has definitively dismantled this defeatist paradigm. The disintegration of knee cartilage is not fundamentally a mechanical failure. It is a profound biochemical stall. The body hasn't forgotten how to repair the joint. Specialized cells are simply being starved of enzymatic catalysts. Millions of aging adults have correctly turned to high-quality bone broth, understanding they must provide the raw materials for joint repair. Bone broth yields a dense payload of the exact amino acids required to build cartilage, primarily glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. Yet, the tragic clinical reality is that for most over 65, consuming bone broth alone is a biologically incomplete strategy. If you do not chemically activate that broth with a specific molecular catalyst, the amino acids will circulate uselessly before being excreted or oxidized. To understand how introducing one specific ingredient can accelerate the synthesis of new cartilage by up to 200%, we must go deeper. We must bypass superficial dietary advice and plunge directly into the microscopic, avascular environment of the human knee joint. Unlike almost every other tissue in the human body, articular cartilage is entirely avascular, meaning it possesses absolutely zero blood vessels of its own. It is also aneural and alymphatic. Because there is no direct blood supply pumping oxygen and nutrients into the cartilage matrix, the specialized cells inside, the chondrocytes, must survive and execute their repair protocols in an incredibly harsh, low-oxygen environment. To receive nourishment, the chondrocytes rely entirely on a passive process of diffusion from the surrounding synovial fluid, the viscous, egg-white-like lubricant that fills the joint capsule. Every time you bear weight on your knee, the cartilage is compressed like a wet sponge, forcing out metabolic waste products. When you take the weight off, the cartilage expands, drawing in fresh, nutrient-rich synovial fluid. However, as systemic inflammation rises with age, the quality of this synovial fluid degrades. It becomes thin, watery, and highly acidic, losing its protective hyaluronic acid content. More devastatingly, the biological signals required to command the chondrocytes to build new collagen become incredibly faint. When you drink a cup of plain bone broth, you are successfully delivering the structural bricks, the glycine and proline, into your systemic circulation. Eventually, some of these amino acids diffuse into the synovial fluid and reach the chondrocytes. However, providing the bricks does not guarantee that a wall will be built. The chondrocytes are the masons of the joint, but in an aging body, these masons are essentially dormant. Lacking the specific molecular tools required to fuse those individual amino acid bricks into a solid, weight-bearing shield. You are providing the raw materials, but you are entirely missing the biochemical welder. To comprehend the exact nature of this biological bottleneck, one must examine the specific molecular structure of human cartilage. Cartilage is primarily composed of type 2 collagen. A collagen molecule is not a simple, straight string of proteins. It is an incredibly complex, tightly wound, right-handed triple helix. For the chondrocytes to weave the loose amino acids from your bone broth into this highly rigid, stable triple helix structure, they must execute a critical chemical reaction known as hydroxylation. They must physically attach hydroxyl groups to the proline and lysine amino acids. If this hydroxylation does not occur, the collagen chains cannot bind to each other. The body will attempt to produce what is known as procollagen. But because it lacks the necessary cross-links, this pro-collagen is structurally weak, fragile, and begins to literally melt and dissolve at normal human body temperature before it can ever be incorporated into the knee joint. The enzymes responsible for executing this vital cross-linking process are prolyl hydroxylase and lysyl hydroxylase. In the aging demographic, these enzymes are present, but they are frequently completely inactive. They are locked in a dormant state because they require a highly specific electron donor to function. The absolute, non-negotiable biological prerequisite for the activation of prolyl hydroxylase is the presence of a concentrated, bioactive dose of vitamin C. The secret to multiplying the speed of your cartilage regeneration by a factor of 2 lies in the strategic, highly timed introduction of a potent vitamin C catalyst, such as the freshly squeezed juice of half a lemon or a half teaspoon of pure, unheated acerola cherry powder, directly into your daily bone broth ritual. Vitamin C is not merely an antioxidant for immune defense. In the realm of musculoskeletal longevity, it is the master molecular welder. When the L-ascorbic acid enters the chondrocyte alongside the amino acids from your broth, it binds directly to the active site of the prolyl hydroxylase enzyme, keeping the iron atom within the enzyme in its required ferrous state. This chemical interaction acts as a massive ignition switch. Suddenly, the dormant enzymes are violently activated. They begin aggressively hydroxylating the proline and lysine molecules, forging unbreakable chemical bonds between the collagen peptide chains. The weak, unstable procollagen is rapidly converted into a dense, highly organized, triple helix collagen matrix. Clinical, in vitro, and in vivo studies consistently demonstrate that when isolated chondrocytes are exposed to an abundant supply of collagenous amino acids, in the presence of an optimal dose of ascorbic acid, the rate of collagen synthesis does not merely increase marginally. It explodes, accelerating the production of new extracellular matrix by up to 200%. By chemically pairing the structural bricks of the bone broth with the enzymatic activator of the vitamin C catalyst, you are completely overriding the age-related architectural stall, forcing the knee joint to shift from a catabolic state of passive degeneration into a highly aggressive anabolic state of targeted tissue reconstruction. Furthermore, this synergistic pairing executes a secondary, profoundly critical rescue mission regarding the microenvironment of the synovial capsule itself. The chronic pain experienced in an arthritic knee is largely driven by a hostile, highly oxidative synovial environment. Reactive oxygen species and free radicals accumulate within the joint space, relentlessly attacking the existing cartilage and triggering the release of matrix metalloproteinases, the destructive enzymes that literally digest and dissolve your joint tissue from the inside out. The massive payload of antioxidants delivered by the ascorbic acid catalyst, combined with the anti-inflammatory properties of the glycine found in the bone broth, floods the synovial fluid with electron donors. This aggressive antioxidant therapy rapidly neutralizes the free radicals within the knee capsule, effectively extinguishing the microscopic chemical fires that drive the degradation process. As the oxidative stress plummets, the production of the destructive metalloproteinases is halted. You are essentially achieving a dual-action therapeutic intervention. You are blocking the enzymes that destroy cartilage, while simultaneously hyperactivating the enzymes that build it. This allows the chondrocytes to work in a protected, pristine biological environment, ensuring that the new collagen matrix they are laying down is not immediately destroyed by the surrounding inflammation. However, the profound medical efficacy of this broth and catalyst protocol is entirely dependent upon a strict adherence to the laws of food chemistry. This is the precise biological nuance where the vast majority of well-intentioned individuals inadvertently neutralize their own medicine, falling victim to what clinical nutritionists refer to as the heat trap. The amino acids within the bone broth are highly resilient. You can simmer bones for 48 hours, and the glycine and proline will remain perfectly intact and bioavailable. The vitamin C molecule, conversely, is notoriously fragile and exquisitely sensitive to thermal destruction. The L-ascorbic acid molecule possesses a highly unstable molecular structure that rapidly oxidizes and breaks apart when exposed to elevated temperatures. If you make the catastrophic error of squeezing your fresh lemon juice into the bone broth while it is boiling on the stove, or even while it is steaming hot in the mug, the aggressive thermal energy will instantly incinerate the antioxidant bonds. The vitamin C will be rendered pharmacologically inert before it ever touches your lips, completely failing to activate the prolyl hydroxylase enzymes in your joints, leaving you with nothing more than a bowl of expensive, inactive protein. To successfully execute this protocol, the methodology must be ruthlessly exact. The broth must be heated and poured into a vessel, and then allowed to cool to a warm, comfortable, drinkable temperature, ideally below 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Only when the thermal threat has dissipated should you introduce the freshly squeezed lemon juice or the acerola powder, stirring it gently into the lipid-rich matrix of the broth. This strict temperature control ensures that the L-ascorbic acid arrives in your stomach, enters your portal vein in a vibrant, fully bioactive state, ready to be shuttled directly to the avascular tissues of your awaiting knees. The timing of this ingestion is the final parameter required to maximize the physiological remodeling of the joint. To ensure that this heavy payload of targeted amino acids and enzymatic catalysts reaches the systemic circulation with absolute maximum velocity, it must be consumed in a strictly fasted state, ideally as the very first intervention of the morning. When you wake up, your stomach is empty, and your gastrointestinal tract is entirely devoid of competing macronutrients. If you were to consume this broth alongside a heavy breakfast of carbohydrates and complex fats, the digestive process would be significantly delayed. The amino acids would be forced to compete for intestinal transporters, and the delicate vitamin C could be degraded by other digestive metabolites. By drinking the activated broth on a completely empty stomach, you capitalize on the rapid gastric emptying rate of liquids. The broth bypasses the delayed breakdown processes of the stomach and rapidly enters the small intestine, where the dense concentration of glycine, proline, and ascorbic acid is aggressively absorbed by the enterocytes and flushed into the bloodstream. This creates an immediate, high-velocity spike in the specific substrates required for collagen synthesis, driving them deep into the capillary beds surrounding the synovial capsules, before the body's metabolic machinery is distracted by a standard meal. When this highly specific, thermally protected, and precisely timed nutritional protocol is maintained with uncompromising consistency over a continuous 30-day cycle, the internal metabolic landscape of the knee joint undergoes a radical, permanent, and clinically observable transformation. During the first 10 to 14 days of the protocol, the primary shift occurs in the realm of synovial pressure and fluid dynamics. As the antioxidant cascade neutralizes the intra-articular inflammation, the synovial membrane begins to synthesize a significantly higher quality of hyaluronic acid. This critical molecule restores the thick, viscous, shock-absorbing properties of the joint fluid. For the individual over 65, this biochemical shift translates directly into a macroscopic physical sensation: the dramatic reduction of morning gelling. The agonizing, excruciating stiffness experienced upon waking, the feeling that the knees are locked in concrete and require 30 minutes of painful hobbling to warm up, begins to steadily evaporate. The joint capsule is no longer engorged with pressurized inflammatory exudate. It regains its mechanical compliance, allowing the hinge to glide with restored frictionless ease.